Many parents in uproar because deep-fried food, including fish and chips, is going to be axed from school menus across England. Not just parents, kids are going to be in uproar as well, don't you think?
I'm in uproar.
Yeah, exactly. It is a major crackdown, though, on childhood obesity and tooth decay, and it's the first major shake-up since the school food plan, in capital letters, back in 2012.
The government's saying that healthier options are needed, including more fruit, especially in desserts, as well as more whole grains served with salad or veg as an option for every main meal on every child's plate. And Henry Dimbleby is the author of the previous school food plan. More importantly, a absolutely committed campaigner to improving children's learning by improving what they eat in school. And I think that, that's the question. Will this make a difference? Is another step needed in children's nutrition and school meals?
So it will make a difference given certain things happening. So first of all, I'm really glad you pointed the point about learning. So the reason this is happening is we have some of the shortest children in Europe. Our children are getting shorter. 30% of them are obese and overweight by the time they get to secondary school. Tooth decay and diet is the biggest cause of hospital admissions, but also there's really good evidence that good food improves learning. So it's a huge problem. This is one measure. This is like a seatbelt, okay? So the seatbelt doesn't make you drive well, doesn't stop you. What it does is if you crash, it protects you. This is about removing the worst things from food. There are two other things that I think need to happen. One is we've got free school meals rolling out to everyone on universal credit in September, and that food needs to be good, which this will partially help, but we also need to help train those chefs and school kitchens. And there's a big group of charities, of which one that I've co-founded is one, at the School Food Project, which is offering to help to all 23,000 schools in the UK on how you can, within these rules, cook food that's delicious and that the children want to eat.
Can I ask, what's wrong with having fish and chips on a Friday? Why should that be banned? Fish is full of protein, it's good nutrition, and yes, you might get deep-fried batter, but chips are made of potatoes, and it's filling, and it means a child's going to eat the food and feel full, and nothing's going to go to waste.
Not every day, but once or twice.
Well, in that, I mean, first of all, you can, in a lot of so with Chefs in Schools, which is our charity, we've transformed the food in hundreds of schools. You can have fish and chips without a fryer these days. You can do it in an oven.
Baked fish and chips will still be allowed.
But the point is, the problem is so great, as just announced. If you have a deep fat fryer in the kitchen, by the way, an incredibly expensive piece of kit, both to maintain and with current fuel prices to heat. Right. Chippies over the country are really struggling.
Hard to do 100, 150, 200 portions of fried fish at lunchtime.
Yeah, so if you have that bit of kit, it gets used for other things. So this is basically saying, yes, you can. I mean, it was amazing hearing Kevin earlier on, a Daily Mail, Daily Mirror, sorry, commentator, saying, it's gone too far. So what this is saying is, we just need to have a step change, and we don't want to have deep fat fryers.
Okay, so panic over.
Panic over. You can have fish and chips.
You can still have your fish and chips on a Friday. It just won't be deep fried.
But panic still here. So it is difficult. It requires skill and care and love to cook proper food for children that they will eat, that they love. It's possible at this budget. It's possible, but that requires skills.
How much is the budget for an
It's
average
about
school meal in...
£2.30 last time I looked at it, something like that. Okay. Works for bigger schools. And that is why, if you are a school who thinks you're going to struggle, schoolfoodproject.org, go there, sign up. We are coming with help to help you do that.
And let me ask as well, because Jill, a teacher, got in touch with us a little bit earlier. I read out her comment. A lot of children aren't eating a full plate, for instance, of vegetables at home. So to have them at school and say, right, now you need to eat your broccoli and your carrots, a lot of school cooks might think, and those in charge of the budget, that's just going to go in the bin.
Yeah. So interestingly, it's, as all parents know, it is hard to get children to eat well. It's actually slightly easier, I think, in schools than it is in home, because there's a certain level of discipline that you can exert. Nicole Pisani, who was the Ottolenghi's head chef, who then went and worked in schools, set up Chefs in Schools with me, used to stand by the bins and talk to the children about what they were throwing away, why they were throwing it away. And then she evolved the menus. And she went from children, for example, refusing to eat anything but fried fish, over time putting breaded fish, and then over time actually just baking the fish and putting it in tomato sauce. So it is possible. It's easier in schools. Teachers should eat with the children. You need the dining rooms to be places where the children want to go. You need to make the school food the kind of exciting food. When we go into secondary schools, we never mention health. We start with jerk chicken and rice. Taste. We make it the food that the children want. And that really, this is a seatbelt, but for us to do what we need to do nationally, we need to start cooking better food. A lot of schools you go into, the food is still bad, and that's why packed lunch levels are still way too high.
This from Jill. I'm a TA. Spent time in the dinner hall. The veg is always on plates and salads. Sadly, always ends up in the bin. Children's food habits begin at home. All they want is food they eat with their fingers. Family needs to be part of the shake-up. This is a good point, isn't it? If you don't have trained chefs in schools and if you don't have good kitchens, very hard to do good school lunches. But the question is, do parents these days have the skills to cook well for their kids at home? And do we do enough in schools to train men and women, boys and girls, to cook so that they take those skills through their lives and can pass that on to their children? Isn't that also part of what needs to be done?
Yeah, so schools generally do have the kitchens and they have cooks. I mean, we don't bring in chefs to all our schools. We normally train the existing brigades, but you do need training. You cannot wait for the parents to change. 190 days a year, the children eat the food in schools, and we need to, if we're paying for that as a state, make that better. Cookery lessons are really important. Cookery
How many
lessons,
schools are doing cookery
well,
lessons?
exactly. So I actually, in the School for Plan, we wrote the existing curriculum, which talks about instilling a love of cooking in children, cooking savoury dishes. If you go into schools today, into cookery lessons, you will still see them just being taught to cook cakes. And I think if Ofsted, they didn't need to inspect cookery lessons, which are, by the way, obligatory up to 14. If they just said, we might look at what you're doing, that would completely transform cookery lessons. So I think enforcement, just having Ofsted saying we might enforce them would change what's going on in schools.
I don't know if this is something you addressed in your school food plan, but we've had a lot of parents getting in touch to say their children are picky eaters or they actually have a neurodivergent or mental health condition, which means they'll only eat chicken nuggets and chips.
Yeah.
And if you don't offer them chicken nuggets and chips, they're not going to eat. And I would say, as a parent, my thing would be just get them to eat something. I want them to have a meal. Because I would think, I'm going to give them broccoli, carrots, sweet corn, all the rest of it at home. Don't worry, just have them eat something.
Yeah, so particularly for people living in deprived communities, during term time, school meals can be over 50% of the calories they eat. So it's really important to get them something to eat. I would deny that the kind of, that means you have to give them rubbish every day. So I think there are two things going on here. One is we have a health crisis for children. We need to serve better food in schools. The other is we actually have an increasing number, it's getting increasingly difficult in schools to deal with children who do have specific eating issues. Yeah. It is possible, it requires training. You have to, we have children in our schools where you'll give them chicken nuggets. Actually, Nicole, with one child in the first school that we did together, Gayhurst Community School in Hackney, there was one child who only ate chicken nuggets, and she ended up making him his own chicken nuggets every day.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nicole can't be in every school.
Well, so what's interesting is that the people who were cooking that school, opening bags, once you gave them the opportunity, we've got this in Hackney, so we've got a Turkish community, a Vietnamese community. They were suddenly baking their own bread. They were released. You don't need a Nicole in every school. You need to release the love and the energy and the talents of the teams that are already in those schools.
I love your passion, Henry.
Also, Henry, some things in life and in politics and in government are party political, but this is not at all, is it? There is. You've worked with Secretaries of State of Labour, Conservative, all of them, and they all want to do
Well,
this.
so interestingly, when we did the School Food Plan, there was a big fight between Michael Gove and Jamie Oliver, and I came to see, when we launched it, you and Sharon Hodgson, you were Education Secretary at the time, Sharon Hodgson and Stephen Twigg, I said, please don't attack this just because it's Michael Gove. Give us a bit of time. The schools have been under so much political pressure, and none of you did. And since that moment, I think because of what Labour did in opposition then, it has not been a political issue, which is fantastic.
No more turkey twizzlers. Thank you so much.
But fish and chip on Friday, if cooked the right way.
Baked, not fried. Lovely. Great to see you. Thank you.